Hey kids, Inverted Cow here, and welcome back to Ironman Season 8, or Season Clickbait. Yes, that's right. Send me your clickbait suggestions for some of the upcoming things that we have happening. This week's mission is to destroy the weapons bunker. The weapons bunker is, in fact, pretty much close enough to be within weapons range of where I'm at. It's also within weapons range of this Promethium deposit, which is why I haven't actually mined it, because I pulled up to here and then I figured, I'll just use the drone, and I'll send the drone out, and all of a sudden I get gunfire, red laser shots picking away at my drone. Don't exactly really too much care for that action. Thank you very much. As you can see, I've done a little bit of work on the old Titan. It's still kind of beat up and pranged up. I've put in a kitchen cabinet, a food processor, which I have started transferring some of my stuff up to. I need to go swimming. I need to go to a swamp and find some fire moss scrapings, but I need to go swimming for a little bit and pick up a whole whack of plant proteins, so I can start making some health kits. I've got lots of lakes, so I'm not worried about going for a swim. I also have tons of oxygen. Now, that being said, I have been slowly digging and building this up. Like, I've been digging it out and building it up. Not getting very far with that because there's a lot of digging. I've actually burned up about half a dozen or so drills, plus a tier 2 drill. I made one of them, and I burned that up. Seriously, you have to rain now. But yeah, I have clear cut a good chunk of the forest around here up to the 2 Titan parts. I can't really go too much further that way because of the thing. I put the solar panels on the right way around. They're facing north because the sun's arc is actually on the northern hemisphere. Figure that one out. I built some reinforcing struts for the bridge deck, so it actually looks like it's supported, and it actually is supported. If you go to structural integrity, that's actually got quite a good support going now. These are all go down just below the wreckage right here. But as you can see, there is a lot of digging. I've tore one pylon down and started on the other one, and I keep running out of charges for the multi-tool. I need to find a tier 2 multi-tool in a bad way. I did go collect a couple of Promethium deposits, and I have a good supply of it. Not a lot, but about 3/4 of a stack or so. So that should keep me going for a while. I've got biofuel cranking like mad. The other thing I have that has been cranking like mad is, yes, I made it. It finally cooked off. The shuttle is back. Yes, that's right. This is a great utility craft that I have made countless times. It's one of the staples of pretty much all of my builds. This version here has standard straight rockets and miniguns. It's got 6 miniguns. Hi. You have been bothering me since half of forever. Shut up. It's got dumbfire rockets. I think it's only carrying 4 dumbfire rockets on it. I may or may not upgrade those later to the homing missile rockets, but it's heavily armed or armored as I can make it with the thing I had back then. Now I don't know if I can actually do is upgrade this to small armored blocks. I think those, the small armored blocks are strictly for hover vessels. I don't think they are for capital vessel or small vessel. I guess that would be in the build menu. Oops, I jumped in the wrong hole. There we go, that's the one I want. Small blocks. Hull combat steel blocks. Yeah, these are only hover vessels that can use these. I can't put them on the small vessel, which kind of sucks. So yeah, that is as armored as I can make it right now. I've got these all cranking out biofuel like mad. I went for a long drive around the planet because I needed cobalt to bring this in. And basically went to all the radiated zones and mined as much cobalt as I could find and scrounge. I probably could go around all the radiated zones again and pick up more, but I don't really want to. So, and I have a ventilator in here, so I can make this an oxygenated compartment. I can open the upper hatch and launch a drone, stand right here basically between the two armor lockers and launch my drone. So I can drone work from this thing. I have the 3/4 cargo boxes on either side for storage, plus a couple of armor locker, or not armor lockers, constructors and refrigerators. That should allow me to do pretty much everything I need to do in space. Also, I did some exploring and I actually found the village. I've almost completely unwrapped the entire map here, and I found the village. Where did I find it? It was over here someplace. Yeah, way over here someplace. I found a village, and I collected some junk from that, including some of those guns and such you saw in that last cargo box. Let's see, that's and there we have it. That's the first time I've actually powered off the harvester since I've built it. It's been running, making fuel since day one. Now I'm going to queue up this one and have it doing pretty much the same thing. I've got pretty much everything I need right now. I've got the medium armor with the EVA boost. I took a couple of shots with this armor configuration, the light armor with the armor boost and multi-boost. I got shot in the back by a couple of spitbug shots when I was overtaking apart the abandoned derelict base. This derelict base, I was over there. I I got shot in the back a couple of times by a spit bug. He got a lucky hit on me. I was actually at about 50 health when I made it to that healing station. I was that close off camera to death so far. That was about as scared as I wanted to be. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I'm burning out drills on this planet. Like drilling this thing out. I've got a whole box full of burnt out drills. It's ridiculous. Okay, so that's everything I need. I'm gonna go grab. Oh, I want to grab some iron and copper and silicon. Actually, you know what? We got ingots. We'll just take the ingots, and I'll take these multi-charges and a handful of those. Now I can make some core blocks, I believe. What do I need? I need copper. I don't have any copper in there. Oh, right. This thing sucked up almost all my copper. I've been scrounging a little bit, but I haven't really done any resource mining. I need to actually go and do some mining for what I want to build next. But I'm going to order up a couple of those. The next thing I want to make is I've taken the Blue Meanie, which is a large, well, it's basically it's a capital vessel that was designed to be a interceptor fighter. I made a warpless version for a competition, for the red versus blue competition, and then I've taken and I've stripped all the weapons off of it, so it's got no weapons and no warp tank. It's basically it's a hull, and now it's level 15 to bring in. It requires these resources. So I'm thinking, you guessed it, let's go to space, because I know in space there is some resources that I definitely want to acquire. So I'm going to take that multi-boost off, and I'm going to swap that armor on, and I'm going to put the EVA and the multi-boost on there. I need to grab some ammunition. Bullets. Bullets are overrated. Small ammo box. Wow, I am out of bullets. That's funny. Large constructor. Okay, we have armed and reloaded and transferred everything over that we needed to transfer over. Fixed up all of our device limits and such. We're going to power on the oxygen, power on the lights, and power on the thrusters. Power on the thrusters main group. This is something that's always irritated me, is I can't assign this key to anything to this key. Like I should be able, shouldn't have to rely on custom for everything, and it's irritating, but it's an Elion thing that's kind of whacked out. Okay. Now this, of course, is, like I said, a general purpose craft. Designed originally to transport players in a player versus player world from one location into a combat location. So I could move them from a spot into a combat spot, or to extricate them from a combat location if their vessel was destroyed, I could come in, pick them up, move them back to a location where they could quickly pick up a second vessel. I've only used it in combat a couple of times in that role. Most often than not, it's usually used as a general purpose thing where I'm tootling around in space, harvesting asteroids and resources and other senseless, mindless, mind-numbing crap like that. So, welcome to space around this planet. Planet Gno. I'm going to do a little bit exploring around here, and I'll pick it up if I find anything of interest. Or I get killed or anything else like that happens. So, don't go away, kids. We'll be right back. Okay, kids, we have found something of interest that I am looking for. The derelict ship, this one particular here, I believe is considered to be a POI that we cannot attack because I think it contains point defense guns in it, I think. I'd have to double check with Cap on that one, because if I can take this one out, I have a ridiculous amount of resource. And taking out is incredibly easy. The core for it is literally located on the outside wall, well, just inside the outer layer of block. And I believe it's, make sure I got the right end up here. It's basically right there-ish someplace where all those green blocks are exposed. Painfully easy to destroy this that POI. But the other thing that I was looking for was this fleet of space debris. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff floating here. If you bring up the map, tons of stuff. Now, I have found a Zeno supply station, a Promethium and Cobalt asteroid, as well as a cluster zone drone CV. These are all things that I don't want to have to fight. Let's turn on inertial dampeners here and stop our ship. The mining is something I have to do, but this resource here, it's unprotected, undefended. There's no POIs in here that actually contain any guns or weapons of any kind. And these destroyed vessels, some of them actually you will find on the world. This one, for example, I believe occasionally shows up on the moon. This one over here, I think, shows up on the thing. But there's no, like, it's not a hostile POI. They're not considered to be hostile POIs. They are salvage POIs, which makes them very, 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 very valuable to take out. And this is why I was making cores and multi-tool charges, because I need a lot of combat steel to build the Blue Meanie. Even the naked one requires a lot of combat steel, and there is a lot of good, awesome, good loot on these ships. So I'm going to just basically, I'm going to start with one. I'm going to work my way through them all and grab whatever loot I can. I'll kind of give you a bit of a preview as to what I find when I find stuff. So I'll be back when I've got a little bit more loot happening. So don't go away, kids. Be right back. Okay, kids, we're back. I have cored and scavenged each of these. Well, I've cored and looted each of these, I guess is the correct term. I've looted them all. I haven't scavenged any of them yet. Of course, the real loot is going to be the stacks of things like thrusters and combat steel and components. Like there's gravity generators. I saw a couple of advanced constructors. Tons of that kind of stuff on all of these ships. But we'll give you a bit of a hint as to some of the stuff that we found. Well, I guess all the stuff we found, because I just shoved it all into 2 cargo boxes and called it good. But we've got a bunch of random loot. Some steel plates, some solar emitters, a handful of miscellaneous ingots. Not enough to really make any real difference. I found a couple of weapons. There was an assault rifle. I think there was a pistol or something as well. But the good stuff, the good stuff. I found a couple night vision goggles. Yes, I will never be stumbling around in the dark again. Thank you. And, dun-da-da, Tier 2 multi-tool. Yes. A couple of Tier 1s, but I found a Tier 2. I found a couple of other boosts, including another multi-boost, which I will definitely be putting to use as well. The oxygen tank boost is really handy, especially if you're going to be setting up a scuba gear configuration. I usually do oxygen, dual oxygens, or oxygen and mobility because of the food consumption rate modifier and the stamina consumption rate modifier, as well as the, I believe there's a movement modifier on multi-boost as well. Max speed, yeah. That is very handy for doing scuba gear right there. Radiation protection, not really useful for anything. Again, I have yet to encounter a world where I actually needed any substantial amount of radiation protection in single player. I know there are worlds out there, and I know I haven't really gone and warped from world to world to world and gone and explored every single world since Alpha 5, but yeah, that's something that needs to be done at some point. So now what I can do is I can keep the EVA boost on, and I can take the armor boost off this medium and put on a second multi-boost. This will make me fairly mobile and able to work around. Now with the multi-tool Tier 2, I don't have to worry so much about what I'm doing. I've got some cores. I also found a bunch of random food in the refrigerators that I looted before I powered off the bases, so there's a little bit extra bonus food here. Although with the medium armor, my guy tends to go through food like gangbusters. So there we have it. I am going to spend the next little while disassembling most of these. When I bring you back, I will be spawning in the Naked Blue Mini. I'm hoping to find some weapons for this. Particularly interested in looking for is finding the multi-turret weapon. Oops, that's not what I want. There we go. The multi-capital vessel. There we go. Where are you here? Way down here. Hoping to find the multi-turret or the drill lasers. Of course, once I spawn it in, I really won't need to multi-turret a whole heck of a lot in space because we're not going to be playing that long. But the drill lasers, in case I need to go mining for anything, promethium or whatever else might be in space here. There really isn't a lot. I mean, after I've got that ship, it's basically, from that point on, it's scavenge what I need for resources to finish the missions, I guess. There really isn't a lot else I'm going to do. I don't really like to build too much in single player, and this is still, I have to remind myself, the Ironman competition, so we're just playing for one life only. So I'm going to start tearing apart this particular destroyed vessel because of all the thruster components on it, and start throwing everything in the factory. So thanks all for watching. Oh, by the way, B menu, I'm level 18, 0 deaths, still undead, level 18. So thanks all for watching, kids. I'll see you on the next episode, where we will start looking at what we need to do to gear up for week 2's mission. Good night for now.